Greetings everybody, it's Emily from Pages and Ink, and today I will be doing my very first book talk on a library book, and it will be on The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. It would help if you could see it, wouldn't it? Normally I don't do book talks on library books, and I don't really plan on doing very many more in the future, largely because if I did one for every library book that I had, that I've read, I would have more videos, which I guess would be good, but it'd be a lot of work. And I wouldn't be able to do videos about them in the future because they would be library books. But this one I really did want to talk about. It wasn't absolutely spectacular fantastic. I did not give it 5 stars, but I did give it 4.5. It was not what I was expecting it to be, and that is why I'm doing a book talk about it. So I'm going to actually stick this up behind my head because the mask that's usually there is actually on the floor for whatever reason. Oh, quick thing, because I mentioned this in my previous video, and if you haven't seen it, then you would know what this is about. I am Catholic, and today is Wednesday, and it's a specific Wednesday. It's Ash Wednesday, which marks the beginning of Lent, which leads up to Easter, and that's all I'm really going to say. That just explains why there's a smudge on my forehead. I know it's there. You don't need to tell me. Anyway, back to The Kiss of Deception. When I read the description, and actually let me read it to you, because if you don't know anything about it, this is going to be really confusing. So, a princess must find her place in a reborn world, which I thought was really good when I read it. Then it says, she flees on her wedding day. I feel kind of generic princess, to be honest, and that's kind of where it was like, I don't know. She steals ancient documents from the Chancellor's secret collection. She is pursued by bounty hunters sent by her own father, which is what started making me think it was interesting again. She is Princess Leia. Pretty sure it's Leia. 17, first daughter of the House of Morgan. Morgan. The Kingdom of Morgan is steeped in tradition and the stories of a bygone world, but some traditions Leia can't abide, like having to marry someone she's never met to secure a political alliance. Fed up and ready for a new life, Leia flees to a distant village on the morning of her wedding. She settles in among the common folk, intrigued when 2 mysterious and handsome strangers arrive, and unaware that one is the jilted prince and the other an assassin sent to kill her. Deceptions swirl, and Leia finds herself on the brink of unlocking perilous secrets that may unravel her world even as she feels herself falling in love. So, when I read it, I was like, I don't know. Let me put this back up. I don't know what to think about it, because on the one hand, it sounds super interesting, and on the other, it sounds very generic princess. So I gave it a shot, which was actually largely having to do with the fact that it had a over 4 star rating on Goodreads, and usually books with over 4-star ratings are really good, so I gave it a shot. I was expecting a spoiled, pretentious, arrogant, annoying princess who feels entitled to things, because when I hear of princesses running away because they want to marry someone they love and not an arranged marriage, it's not necessarily because they're spoiled and arrogant and whatever. But when it comes to an alliance between countries, usually I prefer my princesses, and this sounds terrible because if I was ever put in this situation, I would be right there with Leia. But, sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and she knows nothing about this guy. For all she knows, he could have been awesome. And it turns out he is. The world building is really cool because a lot of it is ruined land, mixed in with some prosperous land. And there's this one place called the Wasteland, which has a bunch of really weird creatures, and it kind of makes me think of kind of like a radioactive world. It doesn't really say, well, I think it was fire, but it doesn't specifically say, at least not that I remember, what caused the devastation that created the ruins. But the way that some of the animals in the wastelands are described, it kind of reminds me of like a radiation thing. Like they were exposed to radiation, and it kind of messed with their cells, their DNA, and they mutated. Which kind of reminds me of the Shannara Chronicles, to be honest. Not the radioactive part. Maybe it was a world like our own that collapsed and brought upon these other human beings with different power kind of things. Because she does, or there is this thing that exists called gifts, and it's the first daughters have specific gifts that allow them to know things, whether it's hearing them or seeing them or feeling them, or I don't know. They're different. Which is cool. I am the first daughter, so if I was in this world, I would probably have some sort of awesome gift, don't you think? So the world was really interesting. The princess character was not at all who I thought she would be. The love triangle that I thought would exist doesn't actually really exist. It's kind of touched upon, but it's never put into depth like a lot of other YA books. So if there is a love triangle, it's not in this book, and that's what makes me happy. The two male characters are both super interesting, though, and, they're interesting, which I've already said, so I'm just gonna... the other female character is really sweet and kind of selfless in a lot of ways, but at the same time, she's really kind of headstrong, but like in a soft way. I don't really know how to explain it any further than that. There's one very big plot twist that I cannot talk about in depth, because if I do, it kills it for anyone that hasn't read it. So I guess I'll talk about it after I finish explaining what kind of plot twist it is. So up to that point, you guys can watch, but after that, only watch if you've read it. Because it'll get to spoilers. The plot twist is not what I was expecting it to be at all. And it's really well done in such a way that you would not really see it coming. And if you do see it coming, you see it almost right before it's revealed and not, at the very beginning or whatever. So what I will say is not everything is what it seems. And that ends the non-spoilery part. So if you haven't read Kiss of Deception, here's where you leave. And thank you for watching. I will see you next time. And for those of you that stay, here's the spoilery-ish part. To start it all off, the plot twist with Raffi and Caden, I was actually super confused for all of 20 minutes, and I had to talk to my friend Beth, who kind of she had to explain it to me, because I was like, what? And that was because I didn't pay attention to the titles of the chapters, like who was talking, because I thought I had already figured it out, and I hadn't. I was so confused. I was like, what is this? I don't understand. I went back, I looked at the titles, and it never says who is what. It doesn't even mention, and I thought it mentioned, like the other guy sometimes by name, but when it was like that, it wasn't the prince or the assassin, it was Raffi or Raph, or Caden. I almost forgot his name. I really do like Leah's character, because she does go through some character development. She learns that she needs to face her responsibilities, because a lot of people are facing the consequences of her decision, and which is kind of why I feel like princesses should at the very least, see the guy, talk to him at least once, or at least see the guy. I don't know what the wedding would have been like, because it seems like they'd ride, and she's like already in her wedding dress, so it's probably like they arrive in time for the wedding, they have the ceremony, and then they go and have their honeymoon. So maybe there isn't that much time. But, the prince turns out to be a totally awesome guy, so I don't know how I feel about that. But, I do really like her character. I really like how her character starts to develop, and my friend Beth did say that in the next book, her character, or actually a lot of the characters, develop more, and there's a lot more world building. So I'm really excited for the next one, And last time I checked, it is at my library, so I will probably be reading it soon. And that's all I really have to say about Kiss of Deception, because there's a lot to talk about, but at the same time, I've already covered it. A lot of it is even discussed in the summary. So, but one thing I will say is I really do like the excerpts from Venden's, like the Song of Venden or whatever, and the story of, what's it? I can't remember the name. But I really enjoyed them because it was really interesting and it felt very fairy tale, and I love me some fairy tales. So that is all I really have to say about Kiss of Deception. This is one of my shorter book talks, I believe. And I will see you guys next week with either a book talk on Zeros, if I decide I'm going to finish it, because I don't know right now. It's interesting, but at the same time, I'm not feeling it. You know, I'm not feeling a urban fantasy kind of thing. I'm feeling more of a high fantasy, like, I don't know, Throne of Glass or something. But I will see you guys the next time I make a video. Hopefully next week I will have a Top 5 Wednesday for you, if not, maybe another tag video. But I will see you guys then. If you have any suggestions for videos for me so I can post more videos, because I apparently am not the most creative with my videos, put them down below, because I will not post things that you don't have interest in, because then what's really the point? And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, put them down below or message me on Tumblr and I will talk to you. I don't think I have a link, but considering my Tumblr URL is the same as my YouTube channel title, then, you know, you can find me pretty easily. But I will see you guys next time. I hope you had a great Wednesday and continue to have an excellent week. I just wanted to say that on Friday I'm going to play some Dungeons & Dragons again, which I haven't done since senior year of high school. So I am, like, incredibly excited. I am so excited. So anyway, hope you guys, like I said, have a good week, and I will see you next time. Near Splat.